Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the heart.
Friggin' what up, dude, and welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson, dude. We got Aaron beasting it on the sticks, dude.
That's one way to put it.
Here's the thing, Aaron comes in with that energy right now because his Cards just gave up a 2-run lead, bottom of the ninth in the first game of the friggin' wild card series. Aaron, I mean, how you feeling right now?
They just gave up another run, too. It's 5.
Probably makes you want to drop a 4-letter word, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Probably just makes you want to elbow drop the wall, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. It's tough being a fan.
Yep.
And I speak about these 4-letter words, these superlatives that not superlatives, these adjectives that we have. And it has a lot to do with our topic today, which is, I was just posted up the other day just thinking, dude, I was enjoying the autumn season and just enjoying autumnal shit, you know, pumpkin spices, and leaves changing colors, even though in California it's just palm trees and heat still, and lighting candles inside and just having that lit, which is nice. And hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, this is intense. Fuck yeah, dude.
Science.
Hell, exactly, dude. I was too stoked, dude. Wanna know why? A little too much pumpkin spice for me right there. What if instead of bless you, people said, fuck yeah, dude? Do you know that bless you came in because of, is a phrase, because of religious beliefs and like sort of tying into sleep apnea? People thought that like when you opened your mouth big like that, it allowed demons to get into your being and into your soul. People believe your soul existed in your chest. And they're like, oh yeah, that's just you opening your mouth that wide, probably expelling a demon, so you need to be blessed. People, man. Anyway, dude, speaking of people, I was thinking to myself, who first started writing, dude? And why did some cultures develop character writing in like pictographs, and then other cultures had letters? And how are these tied to sounds, or is it tied to actions and vowels? Was it all, you know, you think of cave paintings and it's like a drawing and it goes on. I was actually beasting a cartoon on Adult Swim and I saw this dude, like this caveman dude, did like cave drawings. It's pretty legit. And I was like, whoa, dude. And I wasn't even high or anything, dude. I was just sitting there just posted up being like, whoa, this is sweet. And then I was like, I gotta freaking learn more, dude. So basically I was like, I want to do a pod that just goes, where did writing begin? How did it start? When did it start? You know, and what evidence do we have of it, dude? And I'm fired up to dive into that, dude. You know, being a comedian, I'm always writing, and you know, a lot of times writing unfunny shit, but you got to clear the hopper. You got to get through that. You know, it's mining, baby. You're mining for that gold. You got to just get through it, and hopefully you can land on something nice. Sometimes you got to wait for it to come to you. But yeah, just wanted to answer that question. Where exactly did it begin? When did it begin? How? And, you know, well, the why. Actually, you know, we'll get into a little bit of the why. It might be different than what you'd expect. But before we get into that, dude, I just want to do a quick PSA, dude, for Comedy Gives Back. You know, you can do more than laugh today. You can give. And by that, I mean you can donate to Comedy Gives Back. It's a safety net for the comedy community and helps comedians in need. You can text LAUGH to 707070. You can get more information at www.comedygivesback.com. Basically, you know, it's look, stand-up comedians may work alone, doesn't mean they should feel alone. So you can donate today and at comedygivesback.com, and it's where you know, this website and this organization, it lends a helping hand. It helps with mental health services, crisis support, chemical dependency treatment, and more for comedians. And so visit comedygivesback.com or text LAUGH, like I said, to 707070 to donate today and help give comedians more than applause. So fired up on that. All right, dude, let's keep freaking cruising. So basically, writing systems began in 4 major regions independent of each other way back in the day, going back to like, depending what region you're talking about. The first region, the 4 regions are these. One is Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. That's like present day Iraq. Then you have Egypt, you have China, and then in Mesoamerica, like Central America area. So these are like the 4 major regions that the experts have been like writing developed independently in all these areas in sort of their own unique way. And today we're going to get through the differences and similarities between all of those things. Sorry, I'm sniffing. Friggin' sounds like I just did some friggin'. Here's the thing, dude. I don't like cocaine. Dude, I just like the way it smells, bro. Know what I'm saying, dude? Just partying during our recording right now, dude. Aaron's bummed out on his baseball team, and I'm just fired up on snow.
Finally out of the inning, 6 runs.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So we got so much sick shit to look into right now, dude. And these are, as we have to, disclaimer, this is all just based on the archaeological evidence that we have. I mean, I've said this on pods previous. What historians are operating with is estimated to be about 3% of historical evidence. 97% has been looted, destroyed, stolen, built over, destroyed by humans, or just destroyed by earth and nature and erosion, or buried at sea or whatever. So, or misinformation and all that type of stuff, and us trying to decipher what actual meanings are in theories. So that's what we're basing all of this on, but that's the best we got, baby. That's the best we got. There's people a lot smarter than myself making these calls, doing the research, and it's what we got to go with. So we're going to go to Mesopotamia, known as the cradle of civilization. Baby, the wheel was invented here. And they're saying writing was invented here. And they're saying this is the earliest evidence of writing that we have, appearing almost 5,500 years ago. So you have early pictorial signs, and then these gradually were substituted by a complex system of characters representing sounds. So earlier I mentioned, dude, why do some cultures have letters that represent sounds and syllables and vowels, and others have characters? I mean, for me, and just like if I'm putting myself in my caveman brain, which I do when I'm in the drill factory, absolutely going to town, enjoying a nice Boris Vallejo, while my GF is out at wine and paint night with her girlfriends, I'll be absolutely having at myself, throwing Sonny a bone while I play with my bone, of course, in separate rooms. And I'll be asking myself, it will make sense to me, like how would I develop an alphabet all of a sudden? No, if I'm a caveman and I dip my hand in clay or whatever and put it on a wall and I go, okay, that's now artistic expression or something. And then I paint like a little cow and then an arrow and be like, I killed a freaking cow today, or maybe I freaking murked a saber tooth, and people in this lady that I want to impress, like maybe that's ancient text messaging, be like, hey, whatever some freaking Neanderthal lady's name is, be like, hey, Galadna, cruise over here, dude. I want to send you a text on this wall. Look, I freaking murked this saber tooth. Do you want some saber tooth meat? And then, maybe some man meat too. Sorry, a little bit too crude. Sorry, a little too crude. But honestly, that's the subtext, dude, of the text. Maybe she's into that too. Maybe she likes forward bros. Anyway, dude, it makes more sense that pictographs would then give way to a complex system. And this is developing over hundreds of years of characters representing sounds of the Sumerian language. So the Sumerian language was spoken in Mesopotamia. There were many other languages, and part of cuneiform is that once power passed, like there was this Sargon, the king of the Akkadians, came in and conquered this Sumerians. They previously coexisted, but then Sargon, who sounds like a perfect evil emperor. This just sounds like Sauron out of Lord of the Rings.
Seriously.
100%. He cruises in, and so then he uses cuneiform to also write Akkadian. So it's relating to different sounds, but the symbols and everything are sort of the same. So you kind of have like a little bit of an early alphabet here, which is kind of cool, but it's more pictographs in, what would be known as cuneiform. And the crazy thing is that Sumerian lingers as a language up until about 200 BC. is invented. So in this writing system that's developed out of pictograms and pictographs is originally developed for like bookkeeping and record keeping, of being like, once the economies, Akkadians and Sumerians and other cultures in that region are starting to trade and stuff, they want to know, all right, dude, I gave you 5. Honestly, dude, one of the early evidence that they have of bookkeeping is over beer, dude, which fires me up so hard, dude. Beer was a very, people were paid in beer. Beer, that fermentation actually helped kill germs and stuff in the gut. That fermentation process, like, prevented cholera, which would break out later in cities. But early on, you had cities, but not anything, crazy or as disgusting as like those industrial revolution or pre-industrial revolutionary cities. But they were, you would use clay tablet. It'd be cuneiform pressed into clay tablets. Then they were dried, and these became official records of commerce. And so you'd be like, dude, I gave, you'd be in freaking Sumeria or, part of this Akkadian empire in the Mesopotamian region. You'd be like, dude, look, I paid Rick in like 6 freaking tasty ippos, dude. And then he fixed the roof on my house, dude, with some sick ass like clay, like, however many pounds of clay. So basically 4 ounces of brewski equals like 8 pounds of clay. And then some scribe who were held high in society, so learned bros who were scribes, they would write this cuneiform down and they would keep this record, and then boom, there it is, dude. So if anyone wants to have beef later on, and Sargon has to send his troops over to regulate, they can reference that clay tablet first. We early on in this pod referenced one of the very first epics known to all of mankind, the Legend of Gilgamesh, which is about it's basically a mythical story that's supposed to be didactic. It's supposed to teach rulers of that era, like that city of Ur, what is a good way to rule based on the King Gilgamesh's adventure and journey. So later on, it becomes, writing is developed for teaching and sharing opinions, and I honestly, I would argue that earliest on it was to get laid, like I did with my caveman hypothetical, which honestly doesn't even feel like hypothetical. It feels beyond theory. It feels fact. It feels like it's written in stone. Pun freaking intended, dude. What up? But according to our archaeological evidence by dudes that post up in cargo shorts and, go out there and scrub dirt off of stuff and discover dank ass shit, the earliest records are for commerce. And then, of course, religion. And then, of course, story and teaching. So very, very sick, dude. So you have cuneiform, boom, develops on its own in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, exists for thousands of years, and is translated through many, many different languages in that region. From the Persian Gulf, all in that Persian Gulf region, up to like, sort of like Southern Europe even. So now let's keep cruising on to Egypt, right? So Egypt, dude, we all know, we've all seen The Mummy. Sick ass movie, dude. Imhotep, dude. Egypt. And it's interesting about saying that because Egyptologists, using cuneiform and Egyptian and like studying language through the years, can actually speak sort of like the ancient Egyptian language, like to the vowel, which is pretty gnarly, dude. So, I mean, so sick. They even said that they can do that with cuneiform, like ancient Sumerian. By the way, before we cruise on to Egypt, every curse seems like it exists in Sumerian. If someone's speaking Sumerian to you, odds are you're being cursed.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Especially like, October, some dude's like, oh yeah, your name in Sumerian is this. I'm like, don't say that, dude. That means just some dude who shares my name is going to come inhabit my body tonight. Thank you for that.
I think I heard some Sumerian when I walked in here.
Yeah, you did, bro. Dude. For your Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Jeez.
Someone said that pitcher's freaking name in Sumerian, dude. What's freaking give up 5-6 runs in the top of the ninth in a playoff game in Sumerian, dude? I think it's choke. So in Egypt, we have what is known as, I would say everyone kind of knows the term hieroglyphics, right? You've seen this movie, you've seen this, heard it in the movies. Hieroglyphics, the thing is, is ink writing So they're writing with ink now, and I think the Chinese maybe discovered the yucca and used that as early as paper, but they were doing that in Egypt as well, very early on, 3200 BC. And ink writing comes from the Greek word heretic, which means priestly script, whilst the carved painted letters seen on the monuments are called hieroglyphs, sacred carvings. So hieroglyphs refer to these carvings. So linked to cuneiforms because those are sort of they're imprintments or carving into clay tablets. And hieroglyphs are carved into stones, oftentimes meters high. We've seen these obelisks in Egypt. They're big, big, fat dong style, Maurice's hog style obelisks. And they served religious purposes, like I said, cuneiform, for taxation and commerce. And Egypt here, we have hieroglyphs. We're talking around 3200 BC. Mesopotamia, we were 5500 BC. And so they're carved or written characters. These characters suggest that the earliest times of writing in Egypt had two functions. One was ceremonial, a display or script carved. The other was a service of royal and temple administrations written. That's where you get these heretic, right? Priestly. So friggin' sick ass, dank ass Greek words right there for you, dude. Now here's the interesting thing, dude. I'm talking more alphabets here. So there is even crossover between characters, because there are base level characters that you build off of, and common glyphs, you might call them, in Egyptian. So in Egyptian writing or hieroglyphics, so they have 24 consonantal, that's hilarious that I can't say consonantal, symbols in alphabet containing various consonants only. So phonetic components represent a combination of sounds, right? Determinative signs with no phonetic value used only to determine which of several alternative meanings for a word is meant in a particular context. So it would just be like a symbol or something like that, and it'd be like, it's not phonetic. It's just like, if you had a dude who's just throwing a shaka what up, it's like, that just means shaka what up. Like there's no sound by that. Like if you know how dudes are always like Egyptian, the walk like an Egyptian mode. Imagine if a dude had two shaka what ups doing that. It'd be like, that just means shaka what up. Like there's no sound for it. Whereas these other symbols, if it's like as opposed to like, that would be more pictograph that I was referencing. But like if you had like one of the symbols of like it looks like a crow and it's like overlapping something else, like a squiggly line or a river, that might represent some sort of phonetic noise that they would use in the language, which is sick. So it's basically from this Egyptian writing that an alphabet would first evolve, sometimes from 1850 BC onward. So even though I wanted to make the argument that, okay, cuneiform is early signs of alphabets, and you probably could, really it's in the Egyptian hieroglyphics that we're getting these early signs of an alphabet. And now I ask myself in my research right here, and you might be asking yourself as well, what exactly are the differences or similarities between cuneiform and hieroglyphics? So the main thing is language. Hieroglyphics refer to Egypt in Egyptian. Boom, you're dealing with Egyptians. Egypt, when it comes to hieroglyphics, is the only place you're going to hear that term. Cuneiform is the original Sumerian, then it gets translated into many Semitic languages in the region, like Akkadian or Indo-European or Persian, Hittites even. The writing medium also. Stone carvings, papyrus for hieroglyphics, like I mentioned, and then clay tablets, boom, strictly cuneiform, because it's earlier on technology. Consonants only versus syllabic. So Egyptian hieroglyphics matches the later Semitic tradition of normally not indicating the vowels. You have 1, 2, 3 consonant signs and a word sign. That's that determinative thing I was talking about. Cuneiform was designed for a non-Semitic language and recorded vowels from the get-go. So it'd be like, probably sound pretty harsh, like you're getting cursed or like you're boning or drilling yourself. So pretty sick. But they have a lot of similarities, dude. They're both complex writing systems. The combination of phonetics, meaning components, just like modern Chinese. This is what made me ask. I was like, how come Chinese, why are they writing in characters And then in the West, you have letters. This is what I want to answer that question. We're getting there. And they're also just hugely influential, which is sick, dude. So I just wanted to sort of answer those differences. We could grasp the differences between the two. In case, if you're talking to your future dad-in-law or something, and you're talking about language or something like that, and he's like, you say dude too much, and you're like, well, actually that's just a colloquialism from my region. And then you really get into it, and then you can just totally body slam him and be like, what's the fucking difference between cuneiform and hieroglyphics, bitch? And then he'll be going, and you go, are you speaking Sumerian? Say uncle, dude. You gotta pin your future father-in-law, dude. Should be a part of every wedding, dude. You know how they do the read and repeats, Aaron, or vows? Or the father walks the bride down the aisle. As soon as the father walks the bride down the aisle, the groom should pin the dad. They should wrestle. They should have to wrestle. And if the dad pins the groom, then you're not allowed to marry his daughter.
Yeah, that's fair. I would have won by default, so that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you could juke it against you. You could marry a lady who's got a really old dad. If the dad is already gone,
Yep.
passed on, then maybe you got to pin, I don't know, maybe she's got a dog or a Rottweiler. Got to fight that pup. All right, now we're cruising to China. China is said to have the oldest recorded history, which is interesting and confusing to me because we have Mesopotamia and these clay tablets. So basically, there needs to be a dude in cargo shorts, an archaeologist that needs to get pinned. A lot of ego in the archaeological community, I'm finding when I'm doing my research. Be like, well, I found this, and I said that, and you haven't double fact-checked, and mine was in this periodical, and it's like, all right, dude, we get it, bro. Just go out there and beast mode. Show me the evidence, dude. So the earliest examples of writing in China, they're found in this tributary of the Yellow River, 500 kilometers south of Beijing, dude. Just to give you a geographical position here. And they were carried out in divination rituals using animal bones. So this sounds like you could be cursed. Known as oracle bones. You might have heard of an oracle bone. A lot of times in the shoulder blade of an oxen or a turtle. These are flat, probably easier for riding on. And these were posed to the royal a lot of times it was China, you have big ancestry and everything. So you'd have Chinese characters appearing and asking questions to royal ancestors for advice or about crop rotation, warfare, childbirth, even sometimes being like, dude, my friggin' tooth hurts, bro. How the fuck do I fix this shit? And ancestors, give us your wisdom, peace, dude. Honestly, I can't sleep. So tons of examples have been found of these oracle bones, tons of different symbols, over 4,500 symbols. I mean, in modern day China, there's the two major dialects. You have Cantonese and Mandarin. And then within those, I think like even within Mandarin, there's like another 100 dialects, so regional. So basically, but in the Shang China, you have, you really wouldn't be able to read that ancient Chinese written, between the Shang Dynasty, 1300 to 1050 BC. You really couldn't read it this day. Those symbols and characters have developed and changed over the years. And they've evolved just in terms of their function and form. So, it's basically pictograph characters becoming abstract. Part of my theory of this stuff is like penmanship was just bad, and people were like, no, that's the symbol now, dude. The scribe had like bad penmanship. He's like, I can't draw birds well, so now that's what that is. But there's more complex components, and as probably it calls for more complex conversation and record keeping symbols that were served a function that were very, very specific, evolved. I mean, this is a problem that we run into today where people will be like, dude, literally this, and it's like, no, you don't mean literally that. Literally you mean metaphorically that.
Yeah.
So language and written language and all this, that's why lawyering, like when you become a lawyer, you're basically learning to write, and you're learning to write very specifically and accurately, and it's surprising how few people can do it well. Honestly, dude, listen to someone tell a story, dude. Next time you're hanging out with someone's cousin, dude, Let them tell you a story of what happened recently to them. See if you can follow it, dude. See if it has an ending, dude. I mean, that was one of the big steps I took in doing stand-up comedy. It was like, can I tell a story that has a beginning, middle, and end? I would say this is writing. Go tell a storytelling class like The Moth or something like that. Listen to those stories. You know, some of them you kind of get this erudite affectation that I hate, where everyone's like, and then I was doing this, and my father-in-law came in, and believe it or not, the squirrel painting disappeared. So how did we find it? And you get this annoying ass, you know, timbre to their voice.
Yeah,
but
NPR voice.
Dude, exactly, the NPR, exactly, Aaron. But, you know, you'll pick up on some stuff just listening to that, and you'll hear storytelling. It'll make your stories better, dude. Nothing worse than a story that just keeps going on, dude. When your story ends, dude, like this, when you go to a strip club with the boys, and don't get me wrong, I know how to go to the strip club with the boys. I've been to a lot of bachelor parties, dude. And don't worry, I get the okay from my dank ass fiance. And you're walking around and you're going, hey, who are the suckers in here? Who are the losers? And you're looking for them. Find a mirror, because it's you. Okay? When you are telling a story, dude, and at the end of the story, the response is, yeah. yeah, I can see that. Or interesting. Yeah, work on your storytelling. Don't get me fired up, dude. So, anyway, back to Chinese character writing. Basic components were shared between characters to reflect similarities in pronunciation and meaning. So, this ties back into that the blend of phonetic and also your determinative. In this way, since ancient times, Chinese characters has been able to represent both concepts and the sound of spoken language to varying degrees. So, tough. That's difficult. I mean, if you're looking back trying to figure out what people are saying, it's like, oh, this represents a sound of language as opposed to like an action that's happening. Very difficult to, you know, decipher and figure out what's going on. So if you get cursed, you know, it's going to be tough to find the anti-curse or your cure. A lot of times I've been cursed by being stuck at a wedding in a corner and being told a story that lasts for way too long. Dude, recently, this is a true story and I'll keep names out of it. Went to a wedding, had a great time, dude. And there was this lady, there was two ladies. And both, one friend of the groom, one friend of the bride. Bride reaches out to one of the friends and's like, hey, oh, my friend's coming in to town. She needs a ride up to the Central Coast from LA to the wedding. You guys mind pairing up? Oh yeah, no problem. Dude, the friend that offered the ride, and it's tough, I keep on saying like, so friend one who was giving a ride to friend two who got picked up from LAX, friend two was talking so much and was so annoying that friend one straight up drove straight back to LA so that they could not give friend two a ride back. Then me and my dank ass fiance are like, you've been abandoned, like you need a ride, and we live in LA. And we just drove her back. And look, nicest lady in the world, not a bad bone in her body, but let me tell you what, she could talk. Ooh, I got a question here, and you want to hear a question that I had to field?
Sure.
What does a day for you typically look like? What? This is about hour 2 of the drive.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. I wake up, I do that. Okay. I was like, what day are we talking about? Tomorrow? You better believe if you better believe I took that as, are you available to hang out tomorrow? And you better believe I crafted the busiest day I've ever had. Well, it's 6 a.m. I need to wake up and babysit my niece. Then straight after that, I have to go work out. Then directly to work. Then I have to take phone calls. Then after that, I'm going to the dentist. I don't have an appointment, but I've actually got to schedule one, so I'm scheduling that. Then I've got to babysit my niece at the dentist, drop her off, go freaking get pegged by my fiance, which I'm into now. She helped me discover that. That's cool, so we're going to try that. So I'll be busy then, and that's going to take a while. And yeah, so I'm pretty freaking busy. Then I go to my other job at night, and then I got to record a podcast. Shouldn't have said podcast, because then she talked about podcasts for about 58 minutes.
She's like, I am inviting you to overshare.
Dude, exactly.
But I don't want to.
Exactly. That's exhausting. Exhausting.
Wow.
Hey, good person, though. Good person. Gotta say, good person. Anyway, dude, now let's go to our final region, Mesoamerica. You might be wondering where this is. Modern day countries. It comprises the modern day countries of like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, central to southern Mexico. thousands of years, dude, inhabited by cultures such as the Olmecs, Zapotecs, Maya, Toltec, Aztecs. These cultures have been credited with the domestication of maize, which is corn, dude.
Corn, yeah.
Beans, avocado, vanilla. Okay? Some of our favorite architectural styles. Recent evidence points that writing in this region developed in, Mexico, close to Costa Rica, close to 900 BC. Now, here's a disclaimer. The conquistadors, who were absolute schmoles, destroyed much of these civilizations, much of their history. So that's the most far back evidence that we have. It could have very well been 5,000 BC, same as Mesoamerica, same as Mesopotamia. We just have lost it through the ages. And a lot of different languages being spoken here between the Maya, the Mixtecs, Aztecs, Olmecs, all existing, thousands of years ago, and a little bit up into even the AD times. But the Olmecs, I never heard of them. Pre-Columbian civilization, 1200 to 400 BC.
Well, you've heard of Olmec.
Yeah, what is Olmec?
He was the talking head on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, that's Olmec. See, exactly. That's where they're taking it from. So they're just naming that character after an entire culture.
Yeah.
This is way back in the day, 1200 BC. I mean, I just mentioned writing is 900 BC. Basically, they're like a foundation from the major cultures that we know in Mexico and Central America, notably the Mayans and Aztecs, right? Olmecs modern means the rubber people. There was rubber trees, people of the rubber. They would extract latex from Panama from the rubber trees in Panama.
I bet they did.
Fuck yeah. Latex, dude. And friggin' you
Keep it
make
safe.
Jimmy hats, bro. Dude, the Olmecs hated pulling out, so they invented rubbers.
Well, that's why they didn't survive.
It's true, too. Yeah, exactly. It didn't pass on. You got the Zapotecs, dude. Sick-ass name. Flourished in the valley of Oaxaca, Mesoamerica, dude. Shows the culture originated at least 2,500 years ago. And you have two writing systems in pre-colonial Mesoamerica, what we're talking about here. I mean, and way, way, way back from pre-colonial, before AD. And you have open systems, which were a means of recording texts that were not linked to the grammatical or sounds of structures of specific language. They function as mnemonic devices, guiding a reader through the narratives of text without relying on the linguistic background of the given audience. Common among the Aztecs and other Mexican communities, communities of central Mexico. So pretty sick. So sort of feels similar to pictographs for me. Then you have closed systems, which were tied to the sounds of grammatical structures of specific languages. Basically, hieroglyphics, cuneiform, were all in character writing closed systems. Here we have our open systems. That would be your pictographs and what was just described. These closed systems targeted particular linguistic communities and function similarly to writing we know today, dude. Best examples of that are from the Mayas, dude. A lot of writing in the Mayas and in Mesoamerica was for holy books, tribal sacrifices, dude, records of that. Librarians, historians, genealogists, tribute records, marriages, masters of ceremonies, dude. So aka DJs, dude. I'm fired up that they had freaking DJs back then. That's so sick. And astronomers, very sick, dude. And it's freaking rad, dude. There's 4 books, dude. They had some books, bro, which is so sick. First time you've heard that in this whole podcast about talking about writing. These codices or books were put on deer skin, tree bark. And they were polished with lime paste and gesso. I don't know what the hell that is, but I guess it made it friggin' stick. And
queso?
Yeah, gesso, Gesso.
It's just cheese, man.
Really?
No, I don't know, but
Sounds like it.
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does sound like cheese.
Encase it in
They're
cheese.
like, dude, can I get some of that friggin' avocado that you guys harvested with some gesso?
Yeah.
You're friggin' so sick.
Queso fresco.
Let's go. And so, I mean, those are basically the 4 regions. That's how it's been broken down and my discoveries. And, to answer the question, why character writing, why alphabets, I put a little bit on the, I thought I was going to get stuff about the Phoenicians and the Greeks, right? and they come into play, but that basically the Phoenician and Greek is all developed from Sumerian and Cuneiform in that whole region, and phonetic writing systems that we have today are alphabet A, B, C, D. Phonetic comes from the Greek for phoneme, means to speak clearly. The Romans later came with the term Phoenicia, and the Phoenician writing system, though quite different from that of Mesopotamia, owes its development to the Sumerians. It developed around 3,500 to 3,000 BC, so about 2,000 years after the first cuneiform was put on clay tablets.
Every time you've said BC in this episode, I've thought before cereal.
Absolutely before cereal. Before cereal, I want to make a shirt, but first coffee. Skiing, I like skiing, but first coffee. I like drilling myself, but first cereal. And just got to give a quick shout out to the Cro-Magnons. 35,000 BC, they were doing cave paintings, telling Galidna, whoever the lady's name is, dude, look at I murked this saber-toothed tiger. Do you want to stay in my cave tonight? It's pretty warm, and I've got pretty freaking sick-ass bear pelts in here.
Yeah, dog.
You want to post up on these bear pelts, dude, and do bear style? Which I don't even know what that is. But it sounds freaking sick. And by sick, I mean tight. All right, dude, I'm fired up on that. Something we use every day. Language, writing. So sick. Characters are developing to represent actual actions and acts for storytelling, or, believe it or not, symbols, or believe it or not, vowels and phonetic sounds of language. So, basically, I mean, if you think about it, the letter A is basically just a character, just looks a lot simpler and easier. You know, you're just kind of spreading them out horizontally rather than overlapping them, character style. Kind of sick.
That would be
the
insane
same.
To have to read a word where the letters are overlapped.
Very tough. Computers have to do that shit, dude. I have to confirm that I'm not a robot by doing that shit.
Yeah.
When I log into my freaking accounts. It's the same, but different. Think about that, dude. Think about that. All right, let's answer a question, then bone out, dude.
Let's do it.
Keep anonymous, please. Okay. What up, Strider and Aaron? My name's Kevin. I'm kidding. I really need your help. I've been in and out of relationship with one girl for about 4 years. I've broken up with her twice because I have doubts on if I really love her, but then I miss her and feel lonely and came back. I know it's not good for me and that I need to move on, but it's more complicated than that. She has severe depression and has almost committed suicide multiple times. Oh, man. I'm pretty much her only friend, and her parents are jerks to her. I'm scared without what happened where I broke up with her again because her mental state has gotten worse. I don't know what to do. I know this isn't good for us to be together, but I really do care about her, and it sucks to see her sad. All right, dude. I mean, it's a heavy question. I didn't know it was going to be this heavy. First of all, you know, I think you don't want to be... Obviously, you care about her and love her, and I don't know if you love her romantically and want to keep it going. So you just need to have that honest conversation, which is tough. And you're not entirely responsible for someone else's happiness. I mean, if she's talked about that with you and heavy things like that, you know, hopefully she can get professional help with that, which is a good thing to do. And there's no shame in that. Hopefully she'll seek that, and, you know, wishing her the best, and hopefully she can find some light and come out of this depression. And it's an ongoing battle and a tough one. But I think as far as your relationship goes, you don't want to be with someone out of like, sympathy or feeling like, if I leave her, then everything's going to go south. And, you know, things might get worse for a while and she'll be unhappy for a little bit, but you also can't be with someone, you know, you'll end up, to thine own self, you must be true, my dude. So, you know, you just have to have that honest conversation. Let her know you love her and care about her. And I don't know, you know, you guys have been together for 4 years, and I don't know, whatever it is that's leading you, you know, that you want to go explore something new. But I would definitely not stay in a relationship with someone just because you think that like anything will go south if you leave. It's kind of like, it's I don't even know what the terms are for it, but maybe you guys could even do a little couples therapy to help you transition from this breakup or something. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, it's not your job to be the only one that she has or whatever. Like, it's not on you. Kind of underestimates her, honestly. Like, if you think if you left, she'd kill herself, like, she might bounce back somehow. I mean, like, I don't know. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, you don't need to be like, deuces later. Like, all of a sudden, I would, obviously handle it with,
Yeah, you don't have to cut. I wouldn't say cut her out the way that I say normally with breakups, but
yeah, exactly.
It's clearly you've broken up with her because you're not. You can't do it. So, you got to free her up to find her person. You free yourself up to find yours. Dude,
exactly. It's a two-way street. You're not. Yeah, you're also doing her a disservice by staying in this relationship, keeping her from meeting someone who could be her someone, dude. So, it's a tough thing, man. And good luck, my dude. All right, let's answer another question before we freaking cruise out of here, dude. Let's see. All right, dude. This is from Johnny, dude. Strider, what up, my dude? I freaking banged my shin on a six stair skating. I can't skate for a couple weeks while this puppy heals up. Tibula, not broken, but just super sore. What should I do while I can't skate? Thank you, Johnny. Interesting. It's not broken, but he can't skate for like 6 weeks. Anyway, dude, whatever. He has some free time.
Billiards.
Yeah, billiards are sick, dude.
Yeah.
I think billiards are very sick, my dude. Become a pool shark, dude. Smoke some freaking menthol lights inside and play old dudes in pool and take their money. And when you get mad, punch the wall. Dude, I think billiards is really fun. Honestly, we were on the road in Greensboro, North Carolina. We went to a little pool hall. Me, Chad, JT, and Joe played each other. They were playing classic rock, dude. It was a great night. We were sipping on freaking Colorado Kool-Aids. So sick. But Johnny, I don't know how old you are, so I don't know if you're allowed in a pool hall. Maybe you got to go find a bro who's got a pool table. That'd be sick. And dude, honestly, my fantasy team sucks right now, dude. I'm 0-4. I'm exploring all sorts of new shit, dude. I bought a paint by numbers. I bought a Monet. I'm gonna do some water lilies. I'm looking forward to that. My dank-ass fiance and I are doing a little gardening. She's really heading up the operation, but I'll help water the plants. We have a Taiwanese. I don't know if it's Taiwanese, but it's a money tree, and they were popular in Taiwan in the 80s. But we've named that tree Ingrid, and we water it. I spritz it, and I should be good at spritzing since I was a commando boy at the Marriott where I would spritz human beings, which was weird. And so yeah, dude, explore your interests, bro. Dude, here's the thing. That library that you were skating outside of, probably getting yelled at by security, walk inside that fucking library, dude. Mm-hmm. See what it has to offer. All right, dude. Pretty freaking sick. Fired up, dude. Thank you, freaking kings. Danktorians. I'm into saying kings now. I like calling people king. What up, king? I like saying that now. And so I'm fired up, dude. Another great app in the books, dude. Writing. So sick. So sick, dude. And developed independently. So people were needing to communicate and putting down records, dude. Solving arguments. And sharing dank-ass knowledge. So fired up on that, dude. Fired up on this app, dude. Stay stoked, and I'll catch you bros on the next one, dude.